Hey everybody, it's Paul here. Today we're going to do a quick review of my daily snowball portfolio. But before we get started, I just want to talk a little bit about the market these last few days. Today is Friday, November the 14th. Last week, Thursday, Friday, were pretty red in the markets. Yesterday was also pretty red in the markets. We've had mostly red days with a few green sprinkled in here and there, but I've been getting a lot of messages on Blossom. People are kind of panicking. Some people are considering dumping certain positions at big losses, and they're worried the prices are going to go down lower and they're going to lose more money. And guys, I just want to say that these are all unrealized losses, okay? And the markets don't always go up. You can't buy a stock or an ETF and expect that the price is only going to go up. And I like to look at some big companies like Apple, for example. My wife has some Apple stock, not a lot, but she's got some shares. And last year or earlier this year, there was a point where it would hit like an all-time high, 260 something dollars a share. And, we were pretty excited. And I was thinking, oh, should I sell it and move the money into an ETF or something? And sure enough, a little while later, it dropped down to something like around $170, right? And at that point, I was pretty upset. Like, why didn't I sell it? I should have sold it when it was high, and we could have moved the money into an income fund or something. And then, we waited a few months, and next thing you know, it's back to all-time highs. So I'm just trying to say, guys, the market doesn't only go up. And they say when in doubt, zoom out. So let's take a look and see what exactly does that mean. So guys, here's my Wealthsimple portfolio. And you can see that over the course of 1 month, I'm down 5.45%, which is $20,000. So am I panicking? Am I crying? Am I getting upset about this? No, I'm not, right? Because let's take a look if we zoom out. So if we jump to 3 months, you can see I'm actually in the green. Go a little bit longer to 6 months, and you can see I'm up 10.88%, which is almost $34,000. Go to 1 year. Okay, so now we're at 34.5, 11%. Sorry, that's year to date. 1 year. 1 year, I'm up 13.69%. That's $41,000. And then if we go all time, I've had Wealthsimple since 2020. If we go all time, I'm currently up 89%, which is 163,000. Now, about a week ago and 2 weeks ago, my portfolio was up to, I think, 110% all time, which was fantastic. It was a much better number. But again, the market goes up and down. Okay, this is just a normal cycle, right? Now, is the market affected by politics and other factors other than economic cycles? Sure it is, but that's all out of our control, right? We can't control what happens to the market, right? We can just stay invested, keep buying the stocks and ETFs that you have conviction in. Don't try to chase your losers, right? If you have an ETF and you realize that it's garbage, it's no good, it's never coming back, just buying it at a lower cost is not going to help you out. So just, stick to your strategy, right? It's all about your strategy. Go back and look at your positions. Why did you buy them in the first place? And reinvest more money into the ones that you believe in the most. For today's video, we are talking about my snowball portfolio. I did buy a couple more shares of WPay, so I'm up to 72 shares. It's pretty amazing considering I only started October 2nd. YBTC, I didn't buy any shares yet this week. I'm still at 35. QQQY, I sold out of WDTE, which is also from Defiance, and I moved the money into QQQY because QQQY was less expensive and it pays a higher yield, right? So I think being invested in the NASDAQ versus SPY, right, obviously you're going to get a few more percentage points. So I decided to do that. Also, with all of these ETFs paying weekly now, it doesn't make sense for me to continually be, working on adding to my spreadsheet, little tiny increments, $5 here and $5 there. I'd rather build up some meaningful positions. Blocks, I'm at 90 shares already. Have to buy a few more of those. And MSTW, This one has obviously tanked, but I'm at 40 shares and I will keep adding to it, at least until I get to 100 shares. You can see that I started buying it at $29 and it's now down to 16. So we all know what happened to Bitcoin and strategy, but it is what it is. You can see, guys, I'm being honest. I'm showing you my losses right now. Everything in yellow is a loss. But again, these are unrealized losses. I will keep reinvesting the money. I'll keep collecting the distributions, and I'll keep working on this snowball portfolio at least for 6 months, and we'll see where we get to. So for the good stuff, guys, and some bad news, unfortunately, for this week, here are the distributions. And as I told you, I would start tracking at least 4 weeks worth. So you can see blocks was 17 cents, went to 18 cents, now down to 16 cents. And anything in yellow is lower than the week before. MSTW was 35, 37, now down to 27. WPay was at 62, down to 56, now up to 57. YBTC was at 29, 30, and slightly increased from 3016 to 3018. ULTY, we all know ULTY as a train wreck right now, went from 8 cents to 7 cents, down to 6 cents. I was watching SoCal Steve this morning, and he was talking about ULTY. Apparently, they've added some big companies like Costco, NVIDIA, and Meta as holdings. So we'll have to see if that does anything to improve the NAV. Let's hope it does, because I think anywhere between 8 and 9 cents is a good enough payment for me. But getting down to 6 cents really hurts. YMAX did not have the best week, so it went from 19 to 17 to 15. On the other hand, YMAG went up to 17 cents this week, so that's a good one. QDTE went from 23 to 20, now at 22 cents. And RDTE, this one's incredible, so I put it in blue, went from 24 to 22 to 38. I had to check this one a couple of times. I didn't believe it at first. But anyways, this one's a great pair this week. I did load up on some more shares. I sold out of, I think, NVDY to buy more RDTE. QQQY stayed the same. Coney is down a little bit from 887 to 832. Misty is down from 1688 to 1620, but 3 weeks ago was at 19. And Tesla went from 11 to 14 down to 9. Tesla's all over the place, though. Some weeks are really good and some weeks are not very good. So this week I'm going to make 592 US, which is converts to about 830 Canadian. This is not quite yet at the $1,000 a week that I want to be, but I'm going to keep working on it. So you can see that back when I started tracking, I was in the 700s, as low as 600, 700s, and then finally hit 800 in October a couple of times, 3 times. Then I had my best week where I hit $948, down to 911 last week, and this week down to 829. So not the best week, but as you can see above, quite a few distribution cuts. And unfortunately, that is to be expected with these ETFs. Sometimes the distributions go up and sometimes they go down. I'm just going to keep collecting the distributions. I haven't gotten my WPay yet, and I haven't got my ULTY yet either. And today's payments will be all the Friday ones. So I do have some money coming in today. It looks like it's going to be a red day. I will get a chance to reinvest, which is the plan. Guys, please keep in mind that I have almost 40 ETFs in my portfolio. Some of them are more foundational, more stable payments, month to month. They never change. They're very consistent. And then I have some other ETFs like ULTY, maybe like YMAX, Tesla, where the payments are far more inconsistent. But I can pay my bills with my foundational ETFs, right? I have my bills covered, and then I buy some ETFs that might be a little bit more risky. I take a chance on a few, but I'm okay doing that. So, I know a lot of people write in comments that, you shouldn't own this one or you shouldn't own that one. I'm mitigating my own risk, and I know what my risk tolerance is, and I'm comfortable with the money that I'm investing into these ETFs. A lot of times it's not money that I've gone to work and earned, and now I'm putting into my TFSA and I'm buying ETFs that are going to lose money. I'm using distributions or profits from the sale of other ETFs, and then I'm moving it into ETFs like ULTY. And then ULTY pays me more money, and I take that money and I put it into other ETFs that might be a little bit safer. So in that way, I'm continuing to grow my monthly income. All right. So I do have my own personal strategy. Um, might be a little bit more confusing for some people to see, and you think that I'm losing money. But over the past 5 years, you can see my monthly income has continued to grow. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the fact that not every single month you're going to see your income grow, right? For example, last month, May, August, and October were 3 months where I had new all-time highs in terms of monthly income. But not every month is going to be an all-time high, unfortunately, right? Sometimes there's distribution cuts, other things happen. Some months, those 3 months had 5 weeks. So your weekly pairs, you get an extra week's worth of pay. So I'm anticipating November is definitely going to be significantly lower than October. December, I haven't figured out yet. December usually tends to be a good month. We have a Christmas rally, and everybody's happy again. The market goes up, but we'll see what happens this year. One thing I've learned is that these patterns don't seem to be playing out like they used to. They used to say September, October were not good months. This year, they were good months. So, you can't really try to predict or time the market. The best thing to do is stay invested, keep investing on a regular basis, and over time, your money will grow. All right, guys. So just remember, not financial advice. I'm not suggesting anybody should invest in any of these ETFs, right? You have to know your own risk level. You have to do your own research and due diligence and make sure that these ETFs work for you. All right, guys. So until tomorrow, bye for now.